Hey everyone, and welcome back to another under $5 eShop deals video, where each and every week we go through the Nintendo Switch eShop and we pick out some of the best games, all the while staying under a budget of only $5. Now yet again this week, I have some great new picks for you that we've never seen before, as well as some returning favorites. And just before we jump into that, I do want to give the quick reminder, just in case you're new here, that about halfway through the video, I'm going to be giving away 2 $5 eShop gift cards. If you want to participate in those giveaways, all you need to do is be subscribed to the channel and drop a comment down below. If ever you want to see the full contest rules, they're actually in the description of the video. Also, if by the end of the video you're still looking for other great deals, I'll always be linking last week's under $5 list as well as the latest regular eShop deals, because most of those deals are still running today and I just don't repeat them 2 videos in a row. Now with all of that stuff out of the way, let's not waste any more time and jump straight into the deals. Just remember that if you do want to support the channel, one of the best ways to do so is just to hit that like button. Now, our first great deal for today will be on Flat Heroes, that is now back to 80% off, dropping the price to only $1.99 and will be running all the way till June 14th. Now, the best way I would say to describe Flat Heroes is an arena-based precision platformer. Now, visually, there isn't that much going on, but trust me, gameplay-wise, this is an incredible game. The concept might be very simple, but trust me, the levels become extremely complex and extremely challenging. You're basically playing a little square and all you have to do is survive the onslaught that's coming towards you. If you manage to survive all the enemies and obstacles, well then you move on to the next level, and there are over 300 levels available. On top of that, there's even a co-op mode for up to 4 different players, and what's actually pretty great is that if any one of the 4 players survives the level, you move on to the next. So if you're playing with other people, the best player can pretty much solo carry everyone throughout the game. It's actually a pretty awesome setup, especially if you're playing with your kids. Now for me, this was easily a game that was worth its full price of $10. So getting it right now at only $2 is actually quite a steal. And if you need any more convincing for yourself, there's even a free downloadable demo available. Now our next entry for today is a brand new one to the series, and that is Georifters, that is now 93% off, dropping it to only $1.99, and this one will be running till June 2nd. Now this time around, we would have what I would call a 2.5D puzzle platformer. Now what I found really interesting about this game is you have a lot of different playable characters, and each one really has its own unique set of abilities. But all of them have to do around manipulating the different terrain to be able to solve the puzzles and move through the levels. Once again, it's a pretty simple concept. You have to make your way to the different hidden gems throughout the level. Once you've gotten a certain number, you can move on. What I did find super interesting is, given how different each character's individual abilities are, there are multiple solutions to each part of the level. I do have to admit that the visual presentation of this game, however, will probably be hit or miss depending on your personal taste. And for my liking, the controls did feel a little bit floaty, which is why at full price $30, I would not necessarily be suggesting this game. But if you are a puzzle platformer fan, at $1.99, this becomes a very good pickup in my book. If you need any more convincing, yet again, this one also has a free downloadable demo. Now next, I want to take a look at a set of games, because both Gunslugs 1 and 2 are currently on sale by 70% off, dropping the price to only $2.39, and will be running till May 30th. Now both of these games are 2D pixel art, run and gun action platformers. If you want a quick comparison, think of a heavily pixelated version of Metal Slug. And don't be fooled, even though these games are pretty low on the resolution of their pixel art, they are big with action. There are also some really great and funny references to some of the best action franchises of the 80s and 90s all throughout both games. The only thing I do want to mention here is both games on their own are fairly short, which is why it's a great time to pick them up when they're on sale, but are maybe not the best option when they're at their full price. Or if you're into retro-styled run-and-gun shooters with a decent dose of humor, then both these games could be amazing pickups for this week. If you're only gonna pick up one, I would definitely say start with the second one. It is ultimately the best one. Now our next entry is yet a new one to the series, and that is There Will Be No Turkey This Christmas. That is now 20% off, dropping its price to $2.39, and will be running till June 9th. Now first of all, this is actually a brand new game that just came out last week, and I actually already fully reviewed it on the channel, and I'll be linking that down below if you want to check it out. But this game is basically a stealth-based action game with an isometric viewpoint. You're basically playing as a turkey who has decided that he does not want to become Christmas dinner, and using a barrel is going to try to escape the home. The game is basically broken down into 30 levels split into 5 different areas of the house. And in all of them, you'll have to use your barrel to escape capture. If they do see you, you'll have to evade them around furniture and different corners. You'll also have to collect keys to open locked doors. Ultimately, it's a really nice twist on a stealth-based type of gameplay. Now, although 20% off might not feel like a huge deal, with a super low start price of only $2.99, it is nonetheless a great pickup even at full price. Now, our next great game for today is going to be Mechstermination Force, that is back to 80% off, dropping its price to $2.39, and will be running till June 3rd. Now, this game is actually a very interesting twist to the boss rush style of gameplay, because ultimately that is what you are going to be doing at heart, facing down boss after boss. Where the originality really comes in is that each boss fight itself has a good dose of platforming mixed in, where you'll have to climb up different parts of its body to hit its weak spots. Now, both visually and gameplay wise, I've got to tell you, this is a very, very good game, and it actually came pretty close to being my pick of the week. Now, I will warn, however, that some of the levels can actually become quite challenging. Yet at the same time, they are very fair, and if you take the time to learn the different patterns, they are all very beatable. If you're looking for a very straightforward, action-oriented title for this week, I really think you could have a great pick here, especially at only $2.39. So now it's time to take a quick break and announce today's winners of the $5 eShop gift cards. And our first winner for today will be Lady Mirage 707, who said, "Oh man, Lost in Random reminds me of the movie Box Trolls. Love how the game looks." And on that point, I totally agree with you, the movie looks great. And although I referenced A Nightmare Before Christmas, Box Trolls is a nice, beautiful example of the same type of artwork. And now our second winner for today will be Slayer17, who said, "This channel always comes through." And you know what, Slayer? I'm really glad you think so, because I really try to bring the best deals I can each and every week. So now all you need to do to claim your $5 eShop gift card is reach out to me in my pinned comment down below. So now if we jump straight back into our deals, our next one is an amazing one, because Green Hell has hit a brand new low price of 90% off, now only $2.49, and will be running till June 16th. Now, Green Hell might not be a new game to the series, but this price definitely is. And trust me, I never thought this game would hit the sub $5 range. It is basically an open world survival simulator set in the Amazonian rainforest. Now, there's actually quite a few things I really like about this game, but one of the most apparent is that they took a first-person perspective. It really immerses you in the whole experience. Now, I do want to give, however, one quick warning here. There's a very steep difficulty curve at the beginning of this game, and it really might take you a little while to get a hold of the basics. And once you get past that initial chasm, although there will always be a decent level of challenge present, it is a slightly more steady progression. But overall, if you're in the market for a really challenging survival experience, Green Hell at $2.49, there's no reason not to pick this game up anymore. It should be an insta-buy. Now, our next great game for today is another brand new one to the series, and that is the Warlock of Firetop Mountain. That is now 90% off, dropping its price to only $2.99, and will be running till June 3rd. Now, personally, I grew up reading a lot of those choose-your-own-adventure books. And this game is quite literally one of those books brought to life. I mean, the game itself is actually titled after the very first book in that series. And personally, I've got to say, I'm so glad I finally tried out this game because I completely fell in love with it. Now, don't get me wrong, the game isn't only a visual novel style of game, because other than making choices based on texts, when you actually fight someone, it is a strategy-based combat system. There's also a huge amount of replayability here, because there's over 24 different characters you can try. And although the majority of the storyline stays the same, the choices and the way you get to the end will change dramatically depending on which character you choose. Also, on a side note, I love the art style they chose here. To me, it feels very Dungeons and Dragon-esque. Overall, if you have $3 to spend for this week and you like narrative-driven strategy gameplay, the Warlock of Firetop Mountain is an easy choice. Now our next game is yet again another new one to the series, and that is Space Grunts. That is now 70% off, dropping it to only $4.19, and this one however will only be running till May 30th. Now this game is actually an action roguelike with a isometric viewpoint and turn-based gameplay. And this is another game that, just like Gunslugs, has an extremely pixelated art style, yet is really big on the action standpoint. Don't be fooled by these simple graphics, the gameplay is actually pretty deep and also pretty challenging. And although the gameplay here is described as turn-based, it actually winds up being pretty fast-paced. It simply follows that grid-based dynamic where each time you make a move, your enemies make a move. But I would definitely say that if you're in the market for a roguelike dungeon crawler and you really don't want to spend more than $5, Space Grunts is a very good pickup. Now our next entry to the series for this week is another brand new one. That is Gorogoa, that is now 70% off, dropping the price to $4.49 and will be running till May 31st. On top of it, this game will be my pick of the week. Now honestly, I'm not even sure I'll be able to properly describe what Gorogoa is because it's a very difficult concept to explain without trying it for yourself. But I would say that the overarching gameplay here is that of a puzzle game. However, there are a lot of concepts here that are shared from visual novels because as you're solving the puzzles, they're telling you a story. Now, I do want to warn, as a puzzle game, this one takes a lot of out-of-the-box thinking. However, as you click around and you get a sense for the way things work, at one point it just gels and the game comes together and it's actually a phenomenal experience. Not only that, but if you do pay attention to the storyline happening in the background, there's actually some really awesome moments and a huge payoff at the end. Now, I made this game my pick of the week, although puzzle games are maybe not for everybody. But even if you don't like puzzle games, if you have any chance of ever being converted to the genre, your best shot will probably be this game right here. Now, our next great deal for today will be Steamworld Heist, the Ultimate Edition, that's back to 75% off, dropping the price to $4.99 and running till June 11th. Now, if you watch this series regularly, you know that I'm a fan of all the Steamworld games. You can pretty much never go wrong with any of them. And Steamworld Heist is definitely no different. However, this one is a tactical combat-based game. Once again, as a quick reference point, imagine XCOM-like gameplay, but on a 2D plane. And also using the incredible steampunk-inspired art style that the Steamworld series is known for. There's also some really fun, over-the-top tactics that you can use here, where you often have to bounce your shots off of walls, off of objects. Overall, this gameplay is just tons of fun. Now, yet again, this is another game this week that came very close to being my pick of the week. So if you're looking for another amazing game to add to your library, Steamworld Heist definitely fits the bill. So now it's time for this week's Sizzle Reel of Deals with some other great games to consider. So we're now at the end of another under $5 eShop deals video. And just as usual, I really want to hear from all of you. Let me know what games you're picking up for this week. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to my channel supporters. Their monthly support is just so appreciated and really helps the channel out. And also, on the way out, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and click on that notification bell so you know when all my future videos come out. And as usual, I hope I'll see you in my next video.